Thank you wherever you're joining from. I appreciate you anywhere you're connecting from. If you are connecting me from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, from America, from Australia, from Canada, wherever you're connecting from, I say, may Chukwu be my guide and protect you, secure you, and grant you your good heart's desires. Everything that you have desired, that is the will of Chukwu will surely come to pass in your life. Thank you so much for joining. Wherever you're joining from, I say, may Chukwu continue to strengthen you. We will continue to move on. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter where they are coming from. We are standing for the truth and only for the truth. Truth will always prevail. It doesn't matter how you try to cover it up. The truth is just like the light. It will shine even in darkness. The darkness cannot stop the truth. No matter how you try, it can never stop the truth. So before we continue, let us listen to our national anthem and the prayer of Asuna Nnamdi Kanu. Then we can start to make contributions and say what we want to say.
Evening and good night to some of you. This is a very special broadcast, and of course we must pray. And prayer we must this very evening and always going forward. And I will pray in the language of heaven, because Chukwu Abịama is in control of all that we have been doing and will continue to do until Biafra is restored and all the suffering indigenous populations in the damnable Zoological Republic are set free. Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile Chukwu okike abịa onye na-efe na aja aha nsọ ya mma mgbe niile. Onye ọbụla na ya na-achị eluigwe n'ụwa na-agba akaebe ịhụnanya gị na ebere gị amara gị na ọmịiko gị ebe ndị gị na-eze ebede ngọzi. Anyị wee na-etoghị agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro. Iwe nye anyị ndụ ala nke dị n'uwere n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-asị na ịja mma niile otu niile dịrị aha nsọ gị. Onye ọbụla anyị aka ike niile na ọ gbadara aka ya. Anyị wee na-akpọku gị na-asị gị na nke ọma anyị ga-ekele gị, nke ọjọọ ma anyị kelee gị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma, wee na-eto gị, wee na-asọpụrụ gị n'isi ụmụ gị niile bụ ndị ikwu ndị wee ezi oku mgbe a kpọrọ ha ka ha wee chekwaa ala nsọ gị bụ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na ihe n'ikwuru anyị nkwa na o mekataghị ka ndị iro wee were ala nsọ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe. Agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro ma ndị na-agba mgbagba ebe niile dị iche iche onye nwe m na Chineke nna n'ihere bụ nke niile etu a n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-eto gị, wee na-asị onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, onye ọbụla anyị a na-azọpụta, onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na ọtụtụ na ịja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise ise ise.
Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you so much for joining me wherever you're joining me from. I say, may Chukwu Abịa ma guide and bless you. We are here once again, just as usual, to continue to air our opinion and set the record straight. My main reason of coming online on a daily basis is not to demonize anybody, not to talk down on people, not to preach hate speech. The main reason why I come online on a daily basis is to set the record straight, to say the truth and nothing but the truth. And the only thing that is very close to my heart is the freedom of my people, Biafra. The freedom of Biafra is something that is very close to my heart. The freedom of Asuna Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You and I know that the freedom of Asuna Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the freedom of Biafra and nothing more. There is nothing you can say without the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that is going to work. That is why I am standing 101% with anything that will make Mazi Nnamdi Kanu be free from the hand of the DSS. I thank everybody who has joined me on this very broadcast. I can see Umuoji. Thank you so much for joining, Umuoji. Ifoma, thank you for joining, Ifoma, and every other person that is there. Oliver, thank you, Oliver Chelsea, for joining, wherever you are joining from. I thank you all. Anybody is joining, just like somebody that came there first of all, and the only thing he was telling me that DOS is the only way. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. When you say DOS is the only way, I can't understand what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what it means. The only way that I know that is the way to freedom is our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the only man who has proven himself right. He is white and whiter than snow, very consistent and very truthful. That is the only way. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the only way to freedom of Biafrans. I don't know what somebody means when you come to a broadcast and you write on the broadcast and say DOS is the way. What way? If you are bold enough and you know what you are saying, can you come up on stage? I can send a link for you to come in. Come in here and tell me what you mean by DOS is the only way. I don't understand what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. Just as I said, I am not here to talk against anybody or talk against any person. I am here to preach the gospel of freedom, the freedom of the indigenous people of Biafra, the freedom of the Ududua people, the Middle Belters, and every indigenous tribe in the continental called Nigeria. And as I'm passing that message of freedom, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is my role model. I am standing with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu 101%. Everything that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents is what I'm speaking of. That is what I'm standing for. The foundation that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have led is the foundation I'm standing upon. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have built a strong foundation based on truth and consistency. And if you are not truthful, it doesn't matter if you sew the clothes of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and wear your body. It doesn't matter if you use Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in your profile or you write your name as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. If you are not truthful and consistency like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you are beating around the bush. You are beating around the bush. It's just like the Christians. You see a lot of Christians who claim to be Christians. You see so many people claiming to be Christians. You and I know that the meaning of Christian is Christ-like. The meaning of Christianity is Christ-like. But go and check, 80% of the people who are answering Christians, they don't know anything about Christianity. 80% of those who are claiming to be Christians don't know anything about Christianity. They don't have a resemblance of the life of Christ. Go to their churches, including the GOs and the pastors, all of them, they know nothing about Christ. And there is no resemblance in their attitude and in their lifestyle that shows that they are Christians. But you see them parade themselves as Christians, wearing long cross in their neck. They go to church every Sunday. They don't miss any service. Some of them go to church 20 times in a day. But yet, they are not Christians. But ask them, just because they were bearing a Christian name, just because they are going to church, just because they have somebody they call their pastor, they think they are Christian. They are not. The same thing is applicable to those who claim to be members of IPOB, who claim to be fighting for freedom, who claim to know Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and call themselves followers of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But if you look deeply, there is no resemblance of the attitude of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in them. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a peaceful maker. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is loving, very kind. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu accepts everybody. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is very understanding, has a listening ear. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu listens to everybody, listens to every individual. It doesn't matter whom you are. It doesn't matter your tribe. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter your location. When you speak to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he will listen to you. Even in his broadcast, when he is going on in his question and answer, go and check his videos. When people call in the question and answer of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he answers every single question. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu answer every single question, regardless where you are coming from or what you're asking. He will give you an answer. And you see somebody who claims to be Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in his life, in his attitude and what he's doing, there is no resemblance of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. As far as I know, I have not seen any place where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has lied. He has been very truthful. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has always been consistent in what he's asking for. From the very first day he started fighting for freedom, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is asking for freedom of Biafra, and that is what he's still asking up to today. It is because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have refused to change his focus. He is asking for the freedom of his people. That is why they went to Kenya to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They kidnapped him and sent him to Nigeria through extraordinary rendition, which is an international crime. They damn all the consequences and sent him to Nigeria. They did it before. When they kidnapped him in Nigeria, they held him and they promised him heaven and earth. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu rejected every promises, including the promise of oil well that people are dying for. He refused it. Today they have captured him again. And as I'm speaking to you now, they are torturing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is facing a serious torture for him to drop the struggle of Biafra. And the people who are superheading this torture are Biafrans. People who Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for their freedom, who Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is trying to give a voice, they are the people who are making sure that it's not being released. Are you surprised? Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Judas, even among the 12 disciples of Jesus, 12 disciples, people who were close to Jesus Christ, they were close with him at every minute of the day. They saw his miracle. They saw the things he was doing. They knew very well that he has strength, he has power. They knew very well that God is with him. Yet, a close person among the 12 betrayed him. That is exactly what is happening in the life of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today. People who are fighting against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to see that he's not being released are people who he is fighting for. Biafrans themselves. They are the people who are standing to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not be released. But I tell you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be able to release. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter what anybody does. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to be released unconditionally. He will definitely be released. Regardless what anybody is saying. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not fighting for himself. He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. And for now that he's being held, as they are holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in DSS, you think it's just about him? It is not Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They are holding you. You that is watching me. They are holding you. It doesn't even matter if you are a Biafra or you're not Biafra. Some of them could claim that they're not Biafra. It doesn't matter if you are a Biafra or not Biafra. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that is being held in DSS, they are holding you. Injustice against one is injustice against all. Injustice against one, regardless your religion, regardless your tribe, regardless your location. Once there is an injustice against someone, it's an injustice against all. The suffering that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is suffering today, he has become the symbol of justice all over the world. Take it or leave it. That is the absolute truth. The bitter truth that you don't want to hear about. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wasn't only fighting for the Igbos. He wasn't only fighting for the Biafrans. He wasn't only fighting for the Southerners. He wasn't only fighting for the indigenous people of Nigeria. He was fighting for everybody to make sure that people have a responsible place to be. People know whom they are. A symbol of justice. Today, he's being held captive. We are shouting on top of our voices, telling people to come out and protest. Do the needful. At least involve yourself in civil disobedience to make sure that he's released. Some people think it is too much to ask. You think it's too much to ask for you to apply civil disobedience to free yourself. Free yourself. When we are saying free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, some will think it's just about Mazi Nnamdi. It is about you that is watching me. Share the video to all platforms. Share the video to your friends and family. Share it to everybody, even in your WhatsApp group. Let them hear. The fight we are fighting for the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the freedom of every single soul in that country from Nigeria. We are all in captivity. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter your tribe. It doesn't matter your location. You are in captivity. You might say that you are not directly affected now. You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. Those who are victim tomorrow, today, those who are victim today, yesterday, they were victorious. Yesterday, they were rejoicing. And those who will be victim tomorrow, today, you see them smiling and looking at me here. You don't know who is going to be next. You don't know who is going to be next. That is why you have to speak up. If you see something, you say something. We cannot continue to die in silence. A lot of things have gone wrong. A lot of things have gone wrong. And we have to begin to correct that. And I want you to have it at the back of your mind that no single person will give you your freedom. Nobody will give you your freedom in a platter of gold. You have to fight for it. You have to fight for your freedom and take it by force. Remember, those who are Christians can be able to be familiar to this very portion where he said that the kingdom of God suffered violence, and only the violent take it by force. Christians say that. But it's unfortunate, even those Christians who quote these Bibles, they don't do anything to react to what is happening. They cannot react. I'm not saying you cannot pray. Prayer is very important. Because even the person we are following, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, who is our role model, is a very prayerful man. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is a very spiritual man, a prayerful. He believes in Chukwu Okike Abiama, the Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu believes so much in him. That is why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu cannot start anything without praying. He cannot start any meeting without praying. He cannot start any broadcast without praying. That is how close he is to God. Our Supreme Leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu prays for you and I 7 good times every day. You that is watching me, how many times do you pray for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in a day? How many times do you pray for him? How many times do you remember him in your prayers in a week? This is somebody who prays for you 7 times every day. Even as he's in captivity, he's still praying for you. Today, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is suffering. And instead of you doing the needful, you are waiting for political solution. Even when you know that the political solution cannot bring Mazen Nnamdi Kanu out. It cannot. The only thing that can change the narrative and make sure that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is being brought out is your civil disobedience. Civil disobedience. It is because of this that you see that the politicians are pretending to be doing something. When you know they are not doing anything, all they do is go and torture Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in DSS. This is what they are doing. They go to DSS, send people to go and torture Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in DSS. How do I know? Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has nothing to do with political solution. Political solution is not for Biafra struggle. It has never been and will never be. Political solution of the southeastern region, of those politicians you see, the political solutions they are talking about, is never for the freedom of Biafrans or for the ordinary people. It is for their own benefit. They are going there for their 2023 election, trying to make Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to change his mind about the struggle and drop the struggle so that they can pursue their so-called Igbo presidency. Igbo presidency that is dead on arrival, and they know very well that they cannot get, there will be nothing like Igbo presidency. These people know very well that the way I'm looking at it, that before 2023, there will be no Nigeria even. So many people have said about it. Some of their GO have come to confess and say that they're not even sure if Nigeria will see 2023. So many people have spoken about it. But today you see so-called elders and politicians pretending, going to torture Asuda Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in the detention. And those of us who claim to be his followers, who claim to be those who are following him, listening to his messages, you are there folding your hand without doing anything. The thing you are supposed to do to support that man who is suffering for you, you don't want to do anything. You think it is too much to ask for. To sit at home, you think it is too much. To embark on civil disobedience, it is too much. It is not too much. We are not doing anything. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has given it all. He has given everything that he needs to give to us. He has done everything that he needs to do for you and I. Remember how long he started preaching this message. Since he began to spread the gospel went as far as the northern part of Nigeria. So many of them begin to realize their mistake. People were converted from different angles, not only Biafrans. You can see our Oduduwa brothers marching strong. Look at Sunday Igboho. Sunday Igboho stood up against this Janjaweed. He took up the challenge, and today Sunday Igboho is languishing in jail in Benin Republic. Nobody is speaking for him. In the southwest, we have politicians who can speak to any government of the world, and they will listen to them. In the southwest, we have politicians, people who have attained a grade that they can speak to any government of the world, and they will listen to them. Somebody like the criminal we have in that very, I say, what we call Olusegun Obasanjo. Obasanjo can penetrate any government. As a secret member of CIA that he is, he can penetrate any government and set his son free. But he has refused to do so. Instead, he went to connive with the Benin Republic to continue to hold Sunday Igboho until they achieve their aim in 2023. That is what they are doing. The same thing they are doing in the southeastern part of Nigeria. The evil men, the politicians who claim to be representing you and I, they are not presenting any representation. Instead, they are going there for their own selfish interests. They are going there for their own selfish interests. Selfish interests. They have nothing to offer whatsoever for you and I. These are the people who supposedly would be representing you and I. They're supposed to be representing us. But You and I know that there has never been any election in that contract of God Nigeria. What they have is selection. They are always preparing for selection. That is why I pity some of them who have something upstairs. They come and waste their time and energy and be talking and talking and talking. After the theory, you won't see practical anywhere. You see somebody like Moghalu, Kingsley Moghalu, coming to provide different kinds of solution. There is one other man in the Southwest providing different kinds of solution. Brave men who can offer something, but who is going to allow you to do those things you are talking about? In a faulty foundation, there's nothing you can do. There is no pointer that shows that Nigeria is going to be better anytime in this planet Earth because the foundation is faulty. The person that gave you that contraption that you are calling Nigeria, the person that gave you that contraption, his mission was not to make it better for you. It wasn't because of you. Nigeria was not established because of the Yorubas, not because of the Igbos, not because of the Efik, not because of the Ijaw, not because of the Edos, not because of the Northerners. It was established because of the British, to serve the interests of the British. That was why that company called Nigeria was established. It is a company for the Britain. And today, because British have handed this very company over to the Janjaweed, the Fulani Caliphate, they are doing everything possible to protect this very caliphate and make sure that whatever they say happens. That is why anything you suggest to make sure Nigeria will be good, they will not accept it. Even when some people come out and make a suggestion, those who claim that they want to build one Nigeria, so many people who claim to want to build one Nigeria, they call us different kinds of them. This is a mission that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself have embarked on, to have a better Nigeria. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu protested in London for a better Nigeria. The video is everywhere. You have seen it, I have seen it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu protested for a better Nigeria. What did they do? They never listened. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu even went to the extent of joining a political party, the party of our eternal leader, Abga. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu joined them to see if something would be better. It didn't work until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu saw the only solution and he began to follow. Even when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gave the last opportunity to them during the time of EndSARS, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came out to show you how open-minded Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is. EndSARS was for the betterment of Nigeria. It wasn't for Biafra. It wasn't for Dudua. The people that were working on EndSARS, we are doing it to make sure they have a better Nigeria for everybody. That was the purpose EndSARS was done. And to show you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has no evil intention. He is not thinking evil against anybody. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is concerned about every indigenous person in that country called Nigeria. It doesn't matter your tribe. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter your location. Because of that love that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have for the indigenous people, when EndSARS came up, that we are talking about better Nigeria, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu supported the EndSARS. He was broadcasting for EndSARS video 2 times, 3 times every day, giving opinion and suggestion on how things will move forward. What did they do? They turn it around and demonize Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They begin to blame Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for everything happening. They said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was instigating violence. They said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was instigating violence. But before any act of violence happened during that time of EndSARS, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was directing people on how to go peacefully, to go on a peaceful revolution to make sure that they have that better Nigeria they're asking for. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was supporting Nigerian youths, not Biafran youths, not Oduduwa youths, not Southern youths, Nigerian youths. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was speaking out and supporting Nigerian youths on EndSARS period. He was broadcasting twice a day. The videos are still there. Go and watch them. But what did this Janjaweed do? The Caliphate and British, because they never wanted anything good. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it that day when Caroline, or whatever they call her, that British High Commission, went to visit Tinubu, that the next thing they're going to do is to attack the innocent people. Exactly what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said was what they did. After that woman went to visit Tinubu, what did he say? They unleashed the military against the people. They unleashed the military against the innocent protesters, people who were innocently protesting for a better country. They unleashed the military against them. That was what they did. They shot at the innocent people who were protesting and killed a good number of them, took away their corpse. They killed them, took away their corpse, and denied it totally. They denied that something of such ever happened. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu supported it to make sure that that good nation, that good country, sensible nation comes in place. That's why when you see some people calling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, calling him a bigot, he's this one, he's that. These are people who are just hating good. They don't want to see something good. People who hate good. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu doesn't only talk, he puts his word into action. When he tells you he wants equality and equity in every aspect of life, that is what he wants. And anywhere that equity and equality comes, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu supports it. That was why he supported the NSAS, which was for a better Nigeria, not even for Biafra or Oduduwa. But what did they do? The government turned around to kill his own people, while the people were singing national anthem and protesting on behalf of Nigeria. The government turned around and shot at them while they were holding the flag. The flag of Nigeria was stained with blood once again. And you think Nigeria was not meant to serve anybody. It doesn't matter your tribe. It doesn't matter your religion. It was not meant to serve you. It was meant to serve the British. And they would do anything possible to use the Janjaweed, who are their willing to begin to make sure whatever they want happens in that country called Nigeria. They stain the blood of innocents with the flag of Nigeria. The same thing they did during the Civil War. They killed almost 5 million. 5 million Biafrans were killed. Children, the blood of children were used to build this their one Nigeria they're talking about. And you think that the death of those children will go in vain? The same way some people in Asaba came together who pretended that they were, who came out to support the government and said they would not support their brothers because they thought that they would secure the heart of the government. People who are Biafrans, who are supposed to fight along with their own brother, Igbos, Ijos, Delta people who are in Asaba, who are supposed to fight along with Biafra, they went and began to talk about the one Nigeria peacefully to see if there will be peace. What did Nigeria do? They opened fire on them during the Civil War. Asaba massacre that you're hearing about. Asaba massacre. So when you see what happened in Lekki Tollgate, it didn't start today. It didn't start today. It happened in Asaba massacre during the Civil War. How many years ago? How many years ago during the Civil War? And they repeated it again during the NSAS. What does that show you? Nigeria is not meant to serve you, and it can never ever be well. It doesn't matter how you try to pretend, it doesn't matter how you try to push it. The agenda of that very contraption, the reason why it was formed, was not to serve any tribe. It was not for the betterment, including the Fulanis themselves. It is not to serve them. It is to serve a purpose for the British, to make sure that the wealth continue to flow to Britain. And that is why they will support everything evil against the indigenous tribes in the country called Nigeria. As I speak to you, recently, these British people, their parliament sat and they were talking about human rights abuse in the world. Just a few days ago, is it 2 days ago or so, they were discussing about human rights abuse. In that human rights abuse, they know very well, the whole world knows, British people know, they can't tell me they didn't know. They know that their British citizen has been kidnapped in Kenya, his right abused, tortured in Kenya, and was renditioned into Nigeria. And is still in captivity in DSS. They know very well. But during that, their discussion in the parliament 2 days ago, they never mentioned Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They never mentioned their citizen, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a British citizen who traveled with British passport to Kenya. He didn't travel with Nigerian passport because he has denied Nigeria nationality for a very long time. He is Biafran British. He was kidnapped with British passport in Kenya. They almost killed him, tortured him for good 8 days. Then they sent him to Nigeria through extraordinary rendition, which is against international law, a war crime. Britain know about that. Their parliament was discussing about human rights abuse. They never mentioned it. The only thing that is in front burner that the whole world is talking about, knows about, Biafrans have protested all over the world. Biafran and Biafran friends have protested. Even our Oduduwa brothers have joined us to protest on what is happening to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They protest, even in Downing Street, protests were held. Our women flew from the United States, flew to London to go and protest for the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They wouldn't tell me they didn't know about it, but they had their debates in their parliament. They never mentioned the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Even when they talked about, they went to the extent of talking about extraordinary rendition in that very discussion. In that debate, they talked about the extraordinary rendition, but they never mentioned the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They were talking about another person, is it in Rwanda, whatever. Another rendition in Rwanda. But the present one that concerns them directly, their own citizen, who has not committed any crime, he doesn't have any bad record in Britain. He has not committed any crime. Police have never invited Mazi Nnamdi Kanu one day since he became a bishop up to today. We have never seen any record where he was invited. This man was kidnapped in Kenya and renditioned to Nigeria. They came to their parliament and their discussion about human rights abuse. They never mentioned him. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? You better wake up. And if you think I'm joking, I'm going to play a video for you to be sure of what I'm saying. When I say things, I will try to share it to you so that you can be able to follow along and know that we are not making it up. Because most times people think we are making words up. I am not making it up. Watch carefully and listen. Listen carefully and closely. This was what our brother Simon Ekpa revealed yesterday in his program. I watch his program. I follow Simon Ekpa on a daily basis. He has a lot of information. That is why I follow him. And I will urge you to also follow Simon Ekpa in his platform. Follow Simon Ekpa in his platform. He's revealing a lot of information. He's not gossiping. Even with all the attack, he's saying things and setting records straight. I want to play this video for you. Listen carefully. You will understand how devilish this British is, and they don't want us to succeed. They are trying by all means possible. The reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was even kidnapped, they are part of it. They can't deny it. They are part of it. If they can be able to have a debate in their parliament without calling the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's extradition or rendition, even when they discuss about extradition rendition, they were talking about Rwanda and whatever, the present one that the whole world knows, they won't tell me they have not had, because we have protested, even in the Downing Street, even in the Queen's Palace, we protested everywhere. Yet they didn't say any word about it. Watch this video and see for yourself how devilish they are.
Action. And to conclude, the global human rights sanctions and the global anti-corruption sanctions regime have given the UK new and very important powerful tools. The designations we've already made show that we will act to hold to account those involved in serious human rights violations or abuses or serious corruption without fear or favour. And in close coordination with our allies, we will carefully consider future designations under the regulations. Because, Mrs. Miller, through concerted action, we will provide accountability for serious human rights violations or abuses and serious corruption around the world, and deter those who might commit them in the future.
Brian, to wind up.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Miller. Well, I'm afraid the Minister wound me up at the end there, because, to be honest, why the government can't simply say that somebody who has blatantly been involved in the drugging, the illegal extradition of somebody to Rwanda, why the government can't say that that person will not be accepted as a representative of Rwanda to the Court of St James as a High Commissioner? I can't understand. That's a very simple ask. I understand why ministers always say, they've said it endlessly to us, oh no, we don't want to speculate about sanctions because that undermines the system and all the rest of it. We don't want ministers to speculate, we want ministers to implement. It's quite simple, and I like the minister enormously, she knows I do, but we want more action. Only 24% of those people who are sanctioned by the United States of America are sanctioned by this country. What is that? Is that because we are more picky? Is that because we're more cowardly? What is it? I don't understand. There's no argument for it so far. So I hope that what the government will do in the new year is they will set aside a whole day for us to debate a whole series, to debate this in proper government time, to understand how we can make sure that the UK is always and will always be the beacon for liberty, for freedom of association, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to life.
Now let us take it back a little bit.
And will always be for us to debate a whole.
Let us take it back.
24% of those people are. I like the minister, the system, and all the rest of it. We don't want ministers to speculate. I understand why ministers always representative of Rwanda to the illegal extradition. Why the government can't simply say.
Wind up.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Miller. Well, I'm afraid the minister wound me up at the end there, because, to be honest, why the government can't simply say that somebody who has blatantly been involved in
and serious corruption around the world.
At the end there, because, to be honest, why the government can't simply say that somebody who has blatantly been involved in the drugging,
somebody who have blatantly been involved in drugging,
illegal extradition of
and illegal extradition
somebody to Rwanda.
of Rwanda.
Why the government can't say that that person will not be accepted as a representative of Rwanda?
Why the UK government can't say that that particular person cannot be accepted as a representative of Rwanda? You see, my own problem now is that why are they talking about Rwanda when we have the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and nobody is talking about it? And this was yesterday. This was yesterday. That is the reason why, something extraordinarily need to be done. And let me say, when you see me advocating for economic sanction on Biafra state,
you have seen it for yourself. You have seen it. They are debating in their house, in the parliament in UK. They are not mentioning the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, their own citizen who was kidnapped in Kenya. Instead, they are talking about Rwanda. But they have a present case that the whole world is seeing. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not committed an offense anywhere. There is no record that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu committed any offense in UK. There is no record that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu committed any offense in Kenya. There is no record anywhere that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted, even in Nigeria. But what did they do? They kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and renditioned him to Nigeria. And the UK is keeping silent about it. They came for a debate. They can't even mention the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in that debate. They were talking about other African countries. This is to show you openly that nobody is going to fight for you. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu used to tell you, he used to say that it is only Chukwu Okike Abiama that will hand us the freedom we are looking for. And today you have said it. You have to fight for your freedom. Nobody can give you your freedom. It is only Chukwu Okike Abiama. Nobody, no country, nobody can give you your freedom. That is why we are calling on daily basis for civil disobedience. If you don't do something, nobody's going to do anything for you. It's just like those who are waiting on a politician. Which politician are you waiting for? Which politician do you think will stand for the ordinary people and to die for the ordinary people or to take risks for ordinary people? Which politician? Which politician in Nigeria is ready to stand for the ordinary people? There is none, not even one. Not even one can take a bullet for the ordinary people. If there are one, they were supposed to be asking for what the ordinary people are asking, because 85% of the people in that country of Nigeria are asking for self-determination. The Yorubas are asking the same question. The Africans are asking the same thing. Middle Belters are asking. Even in the north, there are people who are asking for self-determination. But why is it that these lawmakers who claim to be representing them cannot be able to move that, even when they have self-determination in their constitution? Instead, they are demonizing people who are asking for that, killing them in different places. Sunday Igboho is in captivity in Benin Republic, held in captivity for doing nothing. Even when Sunday Igboho have won his own case in Nigeria, Sunday Igboho won his own case in Nigeria and money was awarded to him, about 20 billion. He's an innocent person. Still, they are holding him in Benin Republic. Their politicians are silent. Nobody is fighting for Sunday Igboho. The same with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's home was invaded. 28 people were killed in cold blood. Jack, his dog, was killed. Today, even the case, to hear the case is difficult. Sunday Igboho is lucky. The Oduduwa people have fought. At least they have fought and won his case. But in Biafra land, a Biafran judge cannot give Mazi Nnamdi Kanu justice in his case. A clear case. We are not asking for any game. We are not asking you to patronize us. Follow the law and grant Mazi Nnamdi Kanu justice, at least in that case. Up to today, they are still dragging their feet. A Biafran judge in Biafra land cannot grant Mazi Nnamdi Kanu justice, but Sunday Igboho has gotten justice in Oduduwa land. Oduduwa judge gave him justice and gave him 20 billion for 2 people who were killed and his home that was destroyed. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu case, 28 people were killed. Jack, his dog, was killed, and a palace of a king was destroyed up to today. He ended up losing his father and his mother because of that incident. Up to today, the case cannot be heard in Biafra land. It has not been finished. For how many years? Sunday Igboho, within the space of some few days, was able to get justice. This is the double standard we are talking about, that we cannot continue to function together with these people. We can't. The country cannot be one. The Janjaweed have made it so impossible for people to survive in that country. They continue to create enmity between people. They continue to create enmity between tribes, between religion. But meanwhile, they are pursuing an agenda to serve their own purpose. They have mastered the art of Britain to divide and rule people. That is why they bring their divide and rule in everything that we do. You see the destruction of homes that is happening in Lagos State. They are destroying the home of Biafrans in Lagos State, making us to believe that it is Yorubas that are destroying their home. But it is not Yorubas that are destroying our home. It is not Yorubas that are destroying our home. The people who are superheading the destruction of home in Lagos State are the Janjaweed. They are the Janjaweed, the Fulani Caliphate. They are using their stooge in Lagos State, which is Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his governors. Those are the people they are using to destroy the properties of the Biafrans in Lagos State. And they want you to believe that it is Yorubas fighting against Biafra. When you and I know that it is not Yorubas. After all, Yorubas are still losing their own property in that issue. But they want you to make it look like as if we are at war with Yorubas. Because they know that our Sula Mazen Nandekano have succeeded in cementing our relationship with the Yorubas. Mazen Nandekano do a great job in that aspect. Today, we can stand on the same platform and we'll be protesting for one thing with Yorubas. We hold the flag of the Oduduwa high. Oduduwa will raise the flag of Biafra, asking for self-determination. But the politicians, you see them, they are all divided on their own section, fighting for their own personal interests. All the politicians in the southern part of Nigeria, they go to Sokoto to go and fight for second position, even when they know that they are the indigenous people and they're supposed to be the first. Not only by being indigenous people, they are the most qualified to run that country and rule. They know very well, but they will never be given that chance. Go and look at the people they want in power. If the Fulani Caliphate, if the Fulani Janjaweed want to give power to people in the southeastern part of Nigeria or southwest, you see the kind of people they select. Is Tinubu the wisest man in the southwest? Tinubu is not even among the 1,000. If you begin to count among the wise men in the southwest, Tinubu will not come in the line of 1,000. He won't come in. Now they are suggesting Hope Uzodinma and they are suggesting Peter, what do you call him, Ojus Okalo and the other idiot in Imo State, their former governor, Rochas Okorocha. In Southeast, Rochas Okorocha and Ojus Okalo do not come close among the intelligent men. They didn't come close. If you are looking for intelligent men in the Southeast, you cannot mention Ojus Okalo and Rochas Okorocha. They are nowhere. Both in education, in anything you can think of, you can't mention them. The same thing in the Southwest, the people they are promoting, Tinubu that they are fronting, Tinubu cannot be mentioned when you talk about wise men in the Southwest. But these people are the ones that the Janjaweed have chosen to empower, to use them to subdue their own people. And they are doing the work perfectly for the enemy. You see the reason why we must have to break that foundation? We must have to destroy that foundation so that we can have a sane nation where people can function like human beings. Where people can function like human beings. We must have to look at a nation where we function like human beings. That is why you must not agree or believe in anything that has to do with political solution. If they want to go, let them continue to pursue it. But we, the ordinary people, we continue to embark on civil disobedience. And our brother Simon Ekpa have provided a solution. We have to make sure that they stop the revenue collection in Biafra land. We will not continue to give our revenue to the local government and the state government. They will not collect it anymore. All the people that have shops, any business you have in the Biafra land, people who are selling their markets, all the market leaders, keep your revenue to yourself. It is going to be useful for you. Build the economy of your family and your own economy. Stop building the economy for the Janjaweed. When they are telling you about the Southeast economy, the Southeast economy they are talking about is in the pocket of the Janjaweed. If the economy of those governors who are subjugating you, who are killing you, to give them that money to continue to pay the Janjaweed who will come and kill you, that is the economy they're talking about, not about your own economy. Because if they're talking about the economy that concerns ordinary people, they will be crying for the burning of houses and properties that the military are doing in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Have you seen any politician? Have you seen any lawmaker coming to make a case for the burning of houses, burning of properties, burning of killing of people in the southeastern part of Nigeria? Which of them have made a case? Tell me, show me one. Which of them have come to make a case openly for the killing that's happening in the southeastern part of Nigeria? Today, the southeastern part of Nigeria has been militarized. Everywhere you see military, killing and chasing people here and there. People who has not committed any crime. In the southeastern part of Nigeria, There are no terrorists, no citizens that are terrorists. There are nowhere. I am not telling you there are not criminals. We have criminals everywhere. We have criminals in the southeast. We have them in the southwest. But the kind of criminals we have there, they are not terrorists. They are not the killer we're talking about. The Fulani Janjaweed, the Fulani header, the Fulani herdsmen that are killing people on a daily basis are in the north. They are from the north. That is where you have to focus. If Nigeria were to be genuine, that is where they will focus. Because that is where the enemy are. That is where the enemy that is trying to destroy every people, that is where they are. In the northern part of Nigeria and nowhere else. But instead of fighting against these idiots that are killing people, they are busy distracting people in the south eastern part of Nigeria, killing innocent people without doing anything. They don't, people who have not done anything. Meanwhile, they have handed over the north into the hand of the terrorists. The terrorists are controlling the north. Killings happen in the north on a daily basis. The north have become so ungovernable that even some of them are crying that they don't have enough military to kill them from this herdsmen that are kidnapping them, Fulani herdsmen that are kidnapping people on a daily basis and collecting ransom. Recently, you heard what happened in Sokoto State, where people were burned, 40 people plus, 40 plus, and when they tell you 40 plus, you know it's up to 100, including a pregnant woman was burned. They were burned down alive. You saw the burial, the videos everywhere. I can't share it here. It's here. I can only show you the video of the complaint that the lawmaker was making in the House of Assembly. What is happening? It is not a joke. When we say something, we show it to you so that you can know that whatever we are saying and what we are talking about is something that is happening in that
unfortunate incident that took place both in Ilela, that is in Sokoto State, where about 45 people were killed by the bandits. And then again, another one came up about 2 days ago, that is Monday night, where people were in a bus, that is from Ebulutu to another place called Gidambawa. When the bandits stopped them, the bandits were 12 in number with guns. They sprayed the bus with the petrol and then set it ablaze. And they refused to allow anybody to help the people because they are holding guns. Anybody who attempted to do that was actually shot dead. In fact, they continued that until everybody died. There was even a pregnant woman there. That woman delivered there and the baby was also killed. So this is exactly the kind of problem we are facing. Nobody is helping us there. The security forces are not doing much in that area. And now the worst part of it is that the governor has stopped the vigilante groups. So in that kind of situation, we don't know even what is going to happen because nobody is going to assist you, no vigilant groups, and nothing whatsoever. So it's a real serious issue. In fact, I'm sorry to say I have been tired of talking about this times without number.
You see the kind of insecurity that is happening in the north? Their people are so tired of it. But ask me, why? Instead of sending this military to that direction, they are sending the military to the southeastern part of Nigeria to go and kill innocent people. Ask me why. Why are they not chasing against these terrorists in the northern part of Nigeria? Killing innocent people, innocent indigenous people, including Muslims, they are killing them. They are not doing anything. They are focused on the southern part of Nigeria to dip their Quran into the Atlantic Ocean, pursuing the agenda of Ottoman Dan Fodio. That is what they are. They are just pursuing the agenda of Ottoman Dan Fodio, and you think they will succeed? They will never succeed. It doesn't matter how they try. They should keep trying. They should keep trying. They are supporting terrorism. The government of late Muhammad Buhari is supporting terrorism. Even as we stand today, they are the ones supporting it. There is no doubt anymore. They are the ones supporting it, making sure that they hand over the southeastern part of Nigeria, the southern part of Nigeria as a whole, to this Janjaweed before they leave power. That is what they are fighting. And the whole world is watching. UK is watching. US themselves are watching. All these people don't care about you. They don't care about me because they are fighting for their own personal interests. Anything, it is about interest. It's about their interest. They don't care about you. That is why you have to stand up and fight for yourself. Biafrans are already fighting for themselves. The Oduduwas are speaking up for themselves. The Middle Belt are speaking up. If you don't do it now, it might be too late. If you don't do it now, it might be too late. It is high time we fight for ourselves. That is why we have to embark on civil disobedience. And today, that civil disobedience have raised another part. It is not just about sitting at home. The revenue collection in the southeastern part of Nigeria has to be halted. Don't give revenue to anybody. And anyone who is part of those who are collecting that revenue, go and look for another job. Go and look for another job. If you don't go and look for another job, a time will come when you are going to get it hot. And I'm not going to tell you what will happen. You will see it by yourself and you will regret why you ever became a tax collector in that aspect of the country. We have to keep the money for ourselves for the day ahead. Stop paying any dues. If you have a shop, you have a business, you have a company in the southeastern region, keep your money to yourself. Stop paying those allocations. Stop paying all those revenue. Every regular has to be halted. This is the next level of civil disobedience, and we must all engage in it because these people want to kill us. The more you are paying that revenue, you are sponsoring the killer headers. You are sponsoring the Fulani killer headers that are killing people. You are the sponsor. If you are paying revenue, if you are still paying, if you still continue to pay, you are sponsoring the killing of your own people, and the blood of those who have been killed in Biafra land will be upon your head. You are sharing the blood of the innocent, and Chukwu Abiyama will not pardon you. He will not spare you. Chukwu Abiyama will not spare you. It is high time we become serious on what we are doing. Freedom doesn't come easily. These people don't mean well for us. The government of the day are the ones sponsoring the terrorists. I'm going to share another video for you. That video, you will see clearly how they are supplying weapons to Fulani herdsmen. Killer Fulani herdsmen. Government is supplying the ammunition. You will never see any Tokana jet flying there to go and look for them. You will never see any. They are busy chasing ESN that are fighting for their own people. ESN that are fighting to protect the innocent people who are being killed by terrorists. They are busy fighting them, chasing ESN everywhere. But in Fulani, in northern part of Nigeria, they are supplying them ammunition in their bushes. I'm going to share the video for you so that you can see what is happening in the country of Nigeria and wake up and do the needful. You have seen it. That is a helicopter dropping ammunition for the Fulanis. A helicopter dropping arms and ammunition for the terrorists in the bush, the Fulani terrorists. And these people are the people whom the United States gave a Tokana jet to fight terrorism. They gave them Tokana jet. Every day they will tell you that they saw ESN camp. You saw them flying jet all everywhere in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Jet was flying on the air, bombing innocent people in their farms in southeastern part of Nigeria. But today, you see helicopter dropping. How can you tell me that in that contract of called Nigeria, with the whole insecurity in that contract of called Nigeria, a helicopter will go to the bush and drop an ammunition? Yet, the military don't know about it. They didn't see it. But they are quick to see that. Pushing all manner of propaganda against ESN. They will tell you that ESN went and planted IED, which is a lie. ESN doesn't plant bomb anywhere. Mazen Nandikana have not unleashed Biafran army. The ESN we are talking about is just a security outfit to protect the southeastern region against the terrorists. It's just like the Omoteku and the Hizbah you have in the north. They are not Biafran army, and they have nothing to do with bomb. IPOB, and say they are planting bomb. How long shall we continue to listen to this and watch this happen? Mazen Nnamdi Kanu must be released unconditionally. It doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't matter what they do. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu must surely be released. No matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter the angle they are coming from, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu must be released unconditionally. They can't stop it. And it will happen very, very soon. Very soon he will be released. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will be released. And we have to embark on civil disobedience. The sit at home continues. And the collection of revenue in the service of object have to be halted until Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is being released. May Chukwu Okike Abiama guide and protect everybody that has participated in this very broadcast from beginning to the end. May Chukwu Okike Abiama guide and protect everyone that has observed this very program from beginning to the end. Every hand that shares this program, Chukwu Okike Abiama will guide and bless you. Everyone who has participated in any way or any manner, the Oduduwas, the Biafra, the Middle Belters, wherever you are, Chukwu Okike Abiama will going to prosper you and secure you. As many as are watching me, those who have shared this video, you will see Biafra. You will never lose your life. We will walk into Biafra alive. May Chukwu Okike Abiama guide and protect Sunday Igboho. Secure Sunday Igboho, bring him back so that he can continue to fight for the struggle. May Chukwu Okike Abiama guide and protect our son Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Secure Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Send doctors spiritually to go and guide and protect. May Chukwu Okike Abiama continue to guide and protect Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Continue to secure him. Continue to give him strength and give him new life, so that he will continue to have wonderful revelations on things that are about to happen when they have not happened. Thank you so much for watching wherever you are watching from. And God bless. Chukwu Okike Abiama will bless you. Bless you more and more as you share the video. Thank you.